For math this week, we are going to do review of all the first grade stuff that we have learned. So very quickly, we're going to practice our numbers from 101 to 120. So count with me and think about, what do you notice that I did with my color coding, making some numbers blue. So let's say them out loud, and then we're going to talk about the color coding. So here we go. 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. So what do you notice about those numbers that I made blue? What do you notice? Well, you may have noticed with our counting how it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have all of our those are our numbers in the ones place, and then we have, it goes into the tens place starting over here. And then we're just adding the hundreds ahead of that. So our ones place is staying the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just adding 100 ahead of that. And where we have 10 tens, well, let's go ahead and put this in place value charts just to help us see it a little bit. So if we have our place value chart, we aren't going into the hundreds, we're just keeping that the tens. So we would have 10 tens and 2 ones, and then 10 tens and 3 ones, 10 tens and 4 ones, go ahead and say it with me, 10 tens and 5 ones, 10 tens and 6 ones, 10 tens and 7 ones, 10 tens and 8 ones, 10 tens and 9 ones, and then what happens here? What happens here? After we've had 10 tens, which is the same as 100, because if you count by 10 times, you get 100. Then how many do we have in the tens place? We have 11 tens and 0 ones. And then we have 11 tens and 1 1, 11 tens and 2 ones, 11 tens and 3 ones, 11 tens and 4 ones, 11 tens and 5 ones, 11 tens and 6 ones, 11 tens and 7 ones, 11 tens and 8 ones, 11 tens and 9 ones, and what happens here? I really like putting them in the place value chart because then it's pretty easy to see. We put the ones in the ones place, and now how many do we have in the tens place? 12 tens. 12 tens and 0 ones. All right. So we're going to work with these numbers today. We're going to be using our compare and contrast, our greater than, less than, and equal to compare and contrast. And then your homework after this will be to fill in the blank with these numbers in order. And then there will be a time to climb to compare numbers. So that should be fun. So let's get into our comparing these big numbers. All right. Now remember, you need to be actively participating. So as you're watching, you're not just kind of staring and falling asleep. You're paying attention, you're thinking, you're saying things, and you're even writing, okay? So if you want to right now, you can get something to write with. Write these numbers with me, and we're going to compare, okay? So first, I want to compare 100 and 100. What do we say? Greater than? And remember, we read it greater than? Is 100 greater than 100? No. If it's the small mouth, then we say less than. 100 is less than 100? No. What would this one be? Equal to. 100 is equal to 100. So if I have $100 and you have $100, it's the same. We both have the same amount. They're equal. If we had that scale, remember that scale, it would balance out. It'd be the same. They're equal. Okay. Go ahead and write down 113. How would we write that? 113. And we're going to compare to 119. Can you write 119? 119. Okay. Now let's think about our place value chart. We can see if we put them in our place value chart. they both have, or what do you notice is the same or what's different? Think about that. What's the same? They both have 11 tens. 11 in the tens place. What's different? In the ones place we have a 3 and then we have a 9. So which one would be, would they be equal? Are they the same number? No. So which one's the greater number? The 9. So we would make our mouth go toward the bigger number. And then we would read this as 113 is less than 119. Great job. Let's do some more. All right. Now I want you to write 110. Can you write that? 110. And then leave a blank and then write 101. How is that going to be different from 110? Well, 110, we have 11 tens and 0 ones. And then for 101, look at that. We have 10 tens and 1 1. So first off, are they equal? Are they the same? Definitely not. Now let's think, which one's greater? Which one's greater? Well, this one has 1 1, this one has 0, but we really should look at the tens. This one has 10 tens, this one has 11 tens. So which one would be greater? Our 110 is greater than 101. Let's read that together. 110 is greater than 101. Great job. I hope you're saying it with me and writing the numbers for practice, because I know when you were still in class, I had a lot of kids who struggled writing these numbers. So make sure you practice writing these numbers. All right, let's do 115. Write that. 100, 100, and 15. And we're going to compare that to 100 and, I shouldn't show you it, 105. Can you write 105? Okay. So here, there's another tricky one. I'm really trying to test you. We have 115 and 105. If you can't tell which one's bigger, let's put them in those place value chart or boxes. So this one, they both have 5 in the ones place. But look, this one has 10 tens. This one has 11 tens. So which one's bigger? 115. So we make the bigger mouth towards the bigger number. Let's read it. 115 is greater than 105. All right. Let's practice a couple more and then I'm going to quiz you a little bit. Okay? Let's practice this one. Oh, forgot I'm having you practice. Go ahead and write 102. Can you figure out how to write that? 102. There we go. 102. And then on the other side, write 120. How are you going to write that? Write your 100 and 20. And if we need to, we can put them in the place value boxes. You might be able to figure it out without doing this, but it's still good to practice that. So now we have 10 tens and 2 ones and 12 tens and 0 ones. Now does it matter this one has 2 ones, that one has 0 ones? Not really, because this one has 12 tens and this one only has 10 tens, and that's a bigger number. So which one's bigger, 102 or 120? 120 would be bigger. So we make the big mouth towards the bigger number. Let's read it now. 102 is, remember the small mouth when you're reading this way? It's 102 is less than 120. Okay, let's do some quick practice. For the time to climb, I'm going to give you 2 numbers and I'll put the sign in between and you have to say thumbs up if it's right, thumbs down if it's wrong. So let's do a quick practice. Okay, what do you think? Is my sign in the middle correct? Is 115 the same as 115? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Yep, that's the same. What about if I did this? Is 115 less than 115? No, that's wrong. All right, I'm going to change it a little bit. Let's read these numbers. We have 115 and 105. Now look at this sign. This sign says that this is the smaller number, that 115 is less than 105. Is that correct or is that incorrect? Well, first off, we need to think which one is the bigger number. We have 11 tens and 5 ones and 10 tens and 5 ones. Or you can even listen to it and hear 115 and 105. You can even think about it that way, 15 and 5. Is 15 less than 5? Nope, this one's bigger, so this is not correct. That 115 is less. It should have been that sign, greater than, because 115 is greater than 105. So that one's not correct. Nah, nah, nah. All right, let's practice one more. I'm going to try to be sneaky. Ooh, I know. All right, let's read the numbers. 112 is equal to 120. Are those the same numbers? No, so that'd be a thumbs down. Nope, not the same. Let me fix it. Let's see. What if I say this one? What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? 112 is greater than 120. Do we agree or disagree? Oh, I hope your thumbs are down. 112 is not greater than 120. It should look like that. 112 is less than 120. That's the correct one. Woohoo! All right, so you're going to do 2 fill in the blanks where you're writing your numbers to 120, and then you're going to do a time to climb where you're comparing numbers. So figure out which one's the bigger number, see if the sign is right, and then give it a thumbs up if it's right, thumbs down if it's wrong. Okay, have fun.